uncover and how it became a powerful emblem of African heritage. The story of Ankara begins not in Africa, but thousands of miles away in Indonesia, using the batik techniques. Batik is an ancient Indonesian art from where wax is used to create different patterns on fabric. The process involves applying wax to certain areas of the fabric to resist dye, creating elaborate designs. In the 19th century, Dutch colonizers who controlled Indonesia recognized the appeal of batik and then sought to replicate it. They adapted the technique using industrial methods such as roller printing to produce the fabric more efficiently and in larger quantities. Talking about its transition to West Africa, Dutch manufacturers initially aimed to sell the printed batik fabric in Indonesia and Europe. However, fabric found a more enthusiastic market in West Africa, where it was embraced for its vibrant colors and patterns. The Dutch prints, while not initially popular in Europe, became highly prized in West African countries, evolving into what is now known as Ankara. How about its cultural integration? Well, the exact individual or company responsible for introducing batik to the African market is not well documented, but over time, Ankara became deeply integrated into West African culture, symbolizing various aspects of identity, status, and tradition. Despite its Indonesian origins, it is now predominantly recognized as a quintessential element of African fashion. It is clear that the adaptation and adoption of batik by Dutch traders played a crucial role in the fabric's journey to West Africa. By the early 20th century, these vibrant fabrics had become deeply embedded in the West African culture, from bustling markets to family gatherings. Ankara was more than just clothing. It was a statement of identity, social status, and unity. Even today, Ankara continues to hold a special place in West African society, alongside other widely recognized fabrics, reflecting the region's rich textile heritage. Talking about human civilization and the remarkable transformation of covering our body, Ankara fabric stands out with a deep historical roots. Let's take a look at some of the beautiful collections and hear from one of the biggest retailer in Balogun Market, Lagos Island.
I deal in what you call it, Ankara fabrics. We have the big one, which is vegetable block wax. That's the bigger range. You have the medium range. There are also vegetable block wax. So those are the two types of category that we sell. We buy from wholesalers, which is on the mainland. Then we sell. Like people use it for ashwebi. Some people use it for ready to wear, like tailors. They use it for ready to wear. And some people just buy it for maybe like a mini celebration, or in short, all celebration, all ceremony and celebration. So this one now, this is a medium high target, vegetable block wax. This is a medium one. If you touch it, you will see the texture. It's not that 100% cotton. So compared to this one is a big one. Yeah. So when you touch it, you see the difference. Yes. This big one, this medium.
This is big, this is
medium. Yes. That's the difference. This has more quality than this. So that's the difference. And it's not that this one is bad. It's just that some people's pocket that will determine if you can go for big. Some don't like the medium one, so they go for this. They based on this. Buy some that can't afford this, just buy this.
So the rest is just about design.
Yes.
The two types that you have here.
Yes.
The rest is just about design, different designs.
It's not.
As West Africa gained independence in the 1960s, Ankara's popularity soared. It became a symbol of African pride, a rejection of colonial influences, and an embrace of cultural heritage. From everyday wear to high fashion, Ankara represented a new era of self-expression.
We are playing with this machine. We have this time, so you can leave it for 5 minutes, you can leave it for 3 minutes, depends on how strong you want it to be. Okay. So, and as long as you can keep it for that a couple of times, that's how it will last.
Will last, okay.
And another thing that makes it fade off easily is washing machine.
Oh.
Yeah, when you are using a washing machine.
So it should be hand washed, not.
Not soft, strong wash. You know, Ankara is not something that, especially when it's adult clothes, you know, it's not something that you rub on the floor. It's also some particular places to wash.
Ankara is for both sex, male and female. And we have adopted it as an African one. Even some of our brothers abroad is taking it outside to show as an African one. A lot of people see it as the easiest fabric that you can take and make anything that you want out of it. That's why no matter how tough the market is, there are influx of it's going out. And you know it's not only in Lagos. When you bring it out, other people will say, people with all sorts of places. So that is how it spread. So you'll be surprised that you're sitting down here, you will see design today, tomorrow you will not see it again. So there are some trends in Ankara, there are some outfit that is like, well, you can't specify now because anybody can wear anything, but you see some colors that are too sharp. You say that is outside color. Igbos like dull color, yellowish, and you know there are some like this one that is here now, an Igbo uniform. That's fragrant stuff. An Igbo uniform, you see,
Okay.
If you go to function, you see things like that. And if you go to market, it's a separate time. The price is different. It doesn't move like the others.
Okay.
So you have to buy with caution.
Today, Ankara is not just a fabric, it's a global phenomenon, worn by millions. It graces runways from Lagos to Paris, New York to Tokyo. As a symbol of African pride and identity, Ankara continues to evolve, influencing fashion, art, and culture worldwide. From its unexpected beginnings in Indonesia to becoming a powerful symbol of African identity, Ankara's journey is a proof to the resilience and creativity of West Africa. However, as we move forward, what challenges and opportunities lie ahead for this iconic fabric? Join us in the next episode as we explore the current state of Ankara production and the hurdles it faces into this global market. I am Grace Komalafe. See you again.
Hello Nigeria, hello Africa. Yeah, this is Sound Man. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Babalola from Excel LED. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to watch, always watch SOUQ News TV.
Hi, I'm Tom Bogaballs, and please keep watching SOUQ News.
Wale Seriki, SLG Lagos Island East, SOUQ News. Keep out watching them and keep a lookout for them. They're up and coming, and we're proudly to be affiliated with them.
You alone where they make me go crazy. This your love in the cool of my brain. You're my medicine, I need you all day. Yo, it's Blackface Nigeria, and you're watching SOUQ News TV. Keep it locked on this dial, don't change it. You know what I say? Blackface Nigeria, love on the bad.
I was born on the 16th day of October, 63 years ago. I'm from Opobo, yeah, and went to school. I'm from River State, from Opobo in River State. Went to school in Port Harcourt, lived in Port Harcourt all my life, from primary to secondary school to A-levels. Then after A-levels, I got admission to Unilag. Immediately after Unilag, I got married, and I've lived in Lagos ever since. Well, it was fun for us because me and my husband were very young. My husband was 25, I was 21 and all that. But we learned on the job. We were friends. We were friends for 3 years when I was in Unilag, university, and we came out to get married. So we're like children that just got married. But I had my parents. My parents were his very good friends. So when I get naughty, he would report me to my parents. When I didn't know these kind of duties were demands of somebody's wife, they would tell me this is my responsibility. I'm like, no. I will agree to some, I will not agree to some. But I mean, it was fun. We had our ups and downs, but kind of pushed through it. And then the children started coming, and it was a different ballgame. You know, when you come from that kind of family, it's like part of your system. You don't really regard it as anything anymore. But sometimes I get the shock of my life because there was a time my in-laws came to Opobo for one ceremony, and I saw the king. And he gave me a hug and he gave me a pic, and they were like, whoa, the upper Benin won't even shake your hands, you know, as a woman. I'm like, okay. I mean, it's the same family, you understand? So we're used to that. I think we take it for granted. But maybe some other people say, you must call me a princess, you must call me that. I'm not into all those kind of things. I'm not at all, I've never been. So I can't start tomorrow. But yeah. King Jaja of Opobo, my great-great-grandfather. And my children, when they studied it in school, they went to Corona school. When they came, Mom, we're telling our teacher and our classmates that this King Jaja of Opobo, they told them about King Jaja of Opobo in school. And they said, that's my mommy's great-grandfather. Like, whoa, no, it was like a big deal to them, for us. Absolutely, upbringing and my personal choice too, because you could be brought up one way and choose to go another way. You understand? One of my philosophies in life is like this: you're not the tallest in the world, you're not the shortest, you're not the prettiest, you're not the ugliest, you're not the richest, you're not the poorest. Oh, of course, get with it. Do you understand? If you're looking for beauty, there are more beautiful women than you say. If you're looking for ugly, there are uglier women. If you're looking for tall, you're looking for it. So what is it? You understand? You didn't come into this world with anything. You're not going to go with anything. So just be grateful to God for whatever you have or whatever you are. Work towards improving on it, improving your relationship with God Almighty and improving your relationship with your fellow human beings. That's my philosophy in life. So what's the point carrying all the air and chips on your shoulder? It makes life heavier for you. Seven is my favorite number. It's a number for perfection. And I was born on the 16th of October. My star sign is Libra. We're always looking for perfect balance in everything. It's just an influence from the horoscopes, I'm told. That J is my husband's name, D is my name, and 7 is my favorite number. Lazy way of forming the name of a company, isn't it? So I did, and it stuck. And I knew I was going to go into couture, so that was it. Easy. I was a victim of circumstance. I keep saying it. I didn't really come into business to be a fashion designer, to go into fashion, and creativity has always been something that's innate. Okay, even before I started making clothes or doing this, I used to always give designers the styles that I want them to make for me. I didn't have tailors, but when I finished my NYSC at Nigerian Television Authority in Victoria Island, I decided I wasn't going to work there. I wanted to work in a more organized setup. You understand? Because of management traineeship, because I never worked all my life. You know, my parents were very protective. I'm the last girl in the family. They were always very protective. You know? So I said I wanted to work somewhere, and I prayed about it. And I got into Unilever. Then it was called Labor Brothers. And for 5 years, but you know, the intensity of work there became a bit much for me because I was a young mother. I had 2 kids then. Was going on having the 3rd one, so it became a bit time. Sometimes Unilever was one of the biggest. When the international directors come in, we used to be the ones to host them with all the Unilever affiliates. Linters, the advertising agency used to be here. All the Nigerian breweries, USC, you understand, AJC, we're all Unilever group. Sometimes I won't get home until 3 a.m. when we are hosting, and with kids in the house, it can be a bit much. So I'm like, I prayed about it and I decided something has to give. It's either your family, your children will not give them the attention they need then, and they were growing fast, or your job will suffer, and then you will not be happy whichever way. So I decided, you know what, let my priority be my family. And I decided to go back. And I put in my resignation. That was not what I'm fine. When I did, my chairman refused to accept my resignation. So I had to use another way to encourage him to accept it. So I left Unilever. I said, okay, I wasn't the type of person that was suited for being a housewife. I wanted to do the kind of business I would do, but still have 100% time for the kids. So when the kids said, oh, they're having something in school, I'm there, okay? I decided I was going to just market corporate gifts. When I was in Unilever, I was the assistant corporate affairs manager in charge of press. So, and being in Unilever at the corporate affairs level, I already knew a lot of companies. So I used that opportunity to get back to those companies and introduce my new business. And in the first year, I actually made more money than my 5-year stint in Unilever. So that was the number encouragement. You make more money doing your own business. You have more time for your kids, for your family, and for yourself. And you travel quite a bit because you have to go and buy the corporate gift. So it was a win-win. Then, a few years down the line, the president, Olusegun Obasanjo, came in and said they were doing backward integration and they were going to stop the importation of all this corporate gift and a lot of other things. So we were actually forced to look inwards. And when we started looking inwards, that's when it hit me that apart from Big, that was being produced by Eleganza, we're not really manufacturing anything in Nigeria apart from textiles and maybe I think Eleganza was doing food flask or something. Which corporate body do you want to give as end of year gift? So what we had to do now, because a lot of my clientele were like Shell, Chevron, I started looking inwards. I said, okay, if I have to do something, I can do beddings, pillowcase trimmings, table covers, table placemat, napkins with fabrics like Ashok and I can do jute bags, you know. It came to me. So I had to go and buy one machine and employed one tailor. So sometimes they will call me. I did some samples. So when, even in Abuja, when they were going to have, like I remember the West African Women's Affairs, they had a conference. So they wanted jute bags, and we had about 1,000 or 2,000 jute bags, and that was quite nice. Plus, apart from the end of year activities. So that's it. But you know, after those periods, you have periods of lull, like you're not using the machine and the tailor. You have to be paying tailor for doing it. I'm like, why am I going to these people to make my clothes? Tailor, oh yeah, this is the style I want. I started first by giving some of my clothes, repeat it. You did well. So I started designing. I could sketch very well. I was a science student in school, but I could sketch really well. So I was sketching, would do well. And sometimes when I wear the clothes and I go to supermarket, some women will just call me, hey, I really like this thing you're wearing. Please, where did you make it? I'm like, okay, I'll give you the address. I gave them the address. They started coming. Before I could say that, within 1 month, I had over 50 women I had to make clothes for. And the one tailor was no longer enough. I had to employ 2 others. That was how we started. From 2 to 4, then I had a whole factory before you could say that. I started making school uniforms, started doing all kinds of things. And then some of the magazines, like Genevieve magazine, looked at me like, are you sure you make this outfit? I thought you were a broadcaster. I thought you sell. I said, yes, I did. So I did some photo shoot session for her. And I modeled the clothes, actually. And whoa, I started getting calls from Paris, from the UK. I did DC Fashion Week. You know, I was just, and they will pay your ticket, pay your hotel, please come and showcase for us. Some will even say, please come and open the show for us. Some say, we want you to close this. I'm like, okay. There are places that I would never have thought of going to, like Burkina Faso. They will back me the top fashion designers that would, when the Al-Fadi does this thing once every 4 years. Al-Fadi in Niger. The Niger government sponsors it. He calls all, including Elisab, every international designer, they will go, especially the Moroccan ones, those North African ones, Indians. So they invite one designer from each country. So they used to call me to come because of what I used to work a lot with Ankara and SOUQ, and I do international acclaimed, how would I put it, couture outfits with Ankara, big hats, funny looking, structured clothes and all that. So that was how it went, you know. And I did all the magazines. I've won all the awards. So after a while, you know, I started thinking of concentrating on exports. In the process of doing that, my husband took ill. After 2 years, we lost him. So when I came back home, I gave a lot of things a lot of thought. My kids were still in school. My daughter got married. She was in Australia already. And then my kids, my 2 boys were still in school. So I said, look, this fashion design group is not going to pay school fees in pounds sterling and dollars. So I said to myself, you know what? Why don't you give the man hours to the industry, the family business that were yielding the most income? That was how I started kind of just saying, you know what, let me just minimize it a bit. My core clients were still coming. So I kept the tailors, my experienced tailors I worked with for years. I kept them. I kept few of them. And I kind of cut down on that business. I said, you know what, let me just go and face the family business and do this for the people who really know what I'm doing. And word of mouth goes. So I'm still doing that, but my priority is really not that, you know. When you look at me the first time you see me, you see a fragile woman that don't like to sweat, that's spoiled, that like to be kept. I'm like, what? Absolutely not. My husband didn't want me to do anything. He just felt he wanted to spoil me. I said, that's not how to love me at all. Please. It's either you kind of understand the person I am. I'm a very creative mind. This mind has to keep working or I'll make life miserable for you, you know. What I will advise, even women who are willing to work, you don't even do one job. You must get at least more than 2 streams of income. Otherwise, you will not make ends meet. That is the truth of today's world. You understand? Then those ones that want to be kept, no matter how wealthy your husband is, wealth is not static. Some people start today. When they retire, everything goes downhill. Some people mean well, they love you, they want to take care of you, but nature calls, they part ways, some marry other women, some leave, some die, you understand? So anything can happen. I would advise them, everybody, try to be as independent as you can, financially independent. I think you actually earn more respect when you do that. And then also, when things don't work out too well for the husband, no matter how rich you are, you don't have to put him through too much stress. You can take care of yourself, you can take care of yourself, you take care of him, you encourage him, but let him not feel that the world has come to an end. You know, a man feels happy when he knows that his back is covered, even when he's not making it. You understand? It doesn't make him lazy, it makes him very grateful. Yeah. So I will advise everybody, get something doing. Do something that will enable you earn good income if you can. Do something that you also enjoy doing. I've always believed in garbage in, garbage out. Yeah? Garbage in is the stress abound. You cannot control that. But you can control your attitude towards stress. Stress is the #1 killer and ages of everything in this world. It's your attitude to stress that you have to manage, and that depends on you. What you put in your mouth also depends on you. Your mind, your heart, your spirit, your soul. You have to be loving. You have to be forgiving. You understand? All that depends on you. So it's actually you that decides whether you're going to age gracefully or you're not. Forget about the genes first. It's true. You understand? Some people are so malicious. When you offend them once, oh my goodness. They will carry it in their chest and the chest will be expanding and they won't sleep well and they begin to have problems. Meanwhile, the person you're angry with does not even know you exist. It's crazy. So for me, it's just be free and take life easy. Take it as it comes and always be grateful to God. I'm too honest and straightforward. I'm a very straight shooter. I will tell you to your face when you're doing stupid things. That was my relationship with my mom, my dad, my husband. So most times, I'm the last girl in the house. So maybe when they were disciplining the first ones, by the time they got to my turn, they were a bit tired. So we could talk to my parents anyhow. But I don't do it to create whatever. I just feel that if anybody worth talking to, it's worth talking to with honesty and integrity. And when you want to play politics, they will see something that is black. They will say it's yellow. I can't do that. For the love of me, I can't. So politics is not my call. And because of that, they will not allow your creativity to come out, your sincerity to. What's the point? Yes. I'm actually planning some kind of. I met some of my old models that are doing very well. And you know, when you deal with a lot of these girls, some of them have traveled with me to Niger. Sometimes they'll tell you, bring 2 of your models. You know, some of them, we have very good relationship. We're going to do a reunion one of these days. It will be fun. And they are all calling, when are we going to do this? I say, don't worry, we'll get a reunion done. Because we need to revisit the fashion industry, see how things are going. They're doing well. The new ones are doing well. And I just pray that the environment will not discourage them, you know. It's not just Nigeria, it's the world. Whatever is happening in Nigeria is what the truth is. A crate of egg in Nigeria is still cheaper than a crate of egg in the US and in the UK, even with the exchange rate. So it's not just Nigeria, the world is experiencing some kind of. The way I see it, it's like the pangs of birth before the child finally comes. You know, that intense labor. And then when the child is born, everything is calm and beautiful, everybody's happy. I think we are just towards the end of the labor pain. It's going to get better, but we're going to pass through a lot of that before it gets better. And when it finally gets better, we'll all be smiling. But right now, the whole world, not just Nigeria, is crazy. If you look at international, listen to international news, it's actually crazier than here. I just pray. Yes, I live opposite. I won't even say it. On the street, one of the big men that live on that street, his birthday was yesterday, and the whole street was filled with beggars, hungry people. It was really crazy. I felt so bad. We were pushing each other, killing each other, fighting just to get a plate of jollof rice. It was very sad. It didn't used to be that bad. There were a few people who would come hang around, but the whole street, I couldn't move anywhere yesterday because of it. But I hope it gets better soon, so that the best in all of us can come in. Because hunger and poverty can actually bring out the worst in people. Naturally, yes. I have an NGO that I do. What I do, I take girls, young girls that are not able to complete school because of poverty, and I educate them. You understand? I try to pay school fees, help people, and I believe in education a lot. Yeah, because I don't believe in giving you the fish. I believe in teaching you how to fish. I have few of them from my place come stay with me. Some of them are able to stand the discipline. Some of them are not able. So the ones that are able to they stay and they do very well. Some of them I train from a distance and they do well. So I've had university graduates, I have levels, I have all kinds of things. That's what I do. And most people come to me naturally, not because I'm a trained mentor or anything. When you do anything out of love, an act of sincerity of purpose, and because they see you as genuine, they listen to you. You understand? When you mean well, you tell people the honest truth, and they, it's not easy sometimes, but yes, a kind of mentor.
The powerhouse of every home. She makes a continuous, deliberate effort to nurture and secure her family. Before anyone else is awake, she is. Before she eats, they do. Before she rests, she makes sure tomorrow is possible. In homes across the country, hunger is silent, but a woman's sacrifice is not. She walks the land, carries the weight, stretches every meal, yet when food is scarce, she is the force to go without. Food insecurity is not just an economic crisis, it is a gendered one.
As a woman, I've had to reduce my food portion in order for the food to go round. You know, when I'm serving food, protein, like chicken, fish, I have to ensure that everybody else gets. So sometimes I have to take out from my own and ensure that the members of my family, maybe the younger ones, are well fed before I talk about myself.
Me as a woman, I skip food for my children for them to be satisfied.
When food is not going round, you just have to manage ourselves. Like maybe you just one plate, you just have to short it to half, so everybody can take something and eat. It has not been easy because everything has been expensive now. Maybe when I got to market now, I take 50,000 to the market. When I got there, I see that, this thing is expensive. I'll have to buy maybe one print I want to buy. I'll just have to short the money that, okay, let me buy half print of rice, half print of beans, everything half prints.
If it's like your loved ones, something like that, if you see the way there is not enough food, so you just need to step outside your own and give them your own to eat, something like that.
Normally, I used to buy my food from big supermarkets, instead go to the mall, to buy food stores. But because of the high prices in making everything, so I prefer going to the local market. So I go to the local market instead of the mall these days.
Food shortage and hiking price of food has affected my family in the sense that all the things that we used to buy before, the prices of all this food stuff have gone up, and it's becoming more increasingly difficult to buy what we used to buy at the same price. So definitely we have to cut off a lot of options from our meals. So we are kind of repeating the same meals we've been doing that for a while now.
Globally, women experience food insecurity at higher rates than men. According to research, 31.9% of women face moderate to severe food insecurity in 2021, compared to 27.6% of men. Despite making up nearly half of the agricultural workforce, women earn only a fraction of the land they cultivate. They produce, cook, and sell food, but in many homes, they often eat last. When food prices soar, they cut their own portions first, and when resources are scarce, their health and nutrition are sacrificed.
There's sometimes I will just say, this food can't be enough for everybody. So me and the father, we won't be able to eat. The children will just have to take the food.
Okay. There are times I sacrifice my food for my husband. Yes, because he's the head of the house.
Before we take like 3 square meals, but now for the children to be satisfied, we the parents have to, just keep maybe dinner for them to have their 3 square meals.
Women play significant and very powerful role in food security. We all know across the globe that women have families. Women are first in contact in providing food. But what has stopped them from progressing, what has stopped them from earning from their labor, it is because they are not recognized, they are not supported financially, and so these are the challenges that they face.
Millions of women fight an unseen battle, balancing hunger, health, and survival. They are farmers without land, providers without enough to give, pillars of strength in a world that often looks away. Yet, if given equal access to resources, women farmers could increase global GDP by $1 trillion and significantly reduce hunger. This is not just about hunger, it is about power. Who has it, who doesn't, and who pays the price?
These are the challenges we go through as women. Just to put food on the table for the family, we have to be as a strong women.
When food is too expensive or unavailable, what I do is just, I make do with what I have. And then when it's too expensive, I try to go to the market where food stuff are sold at cheaper prices. I try to go to markets where food stuff is sold in bulk, and we can get them for a cheaper price.
Without policies, without laws, without codes of conduct, I like to call it, you cannot achieve. They form the structure within which we should operate. But unfortunately, in our country, policies to a very large extent do not mean anything because they are not followed through. We call on every stakeholders, we call on government to provide the financial powerhouse for them to adequately enlarge the food security within our country and outside of our country.
Policies exist, interventions happen, but while they work, women must be at the center of food security planning, not just on the margins. as the world acknowledges the strength and struggles of women. The call to action is clear. Invest in women farmers, prioritize women in food policies, end gender disparity in food access. When women thrive, community flourish, and progress accelerates. Happy International Women's Day. Grace Komalafe, SOUQ News Television. When most Nigerians hear about anti-graft agencies, fear is the first response, anxiety over investigations, raids, or sanctions. But the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, is showing a more collaborative face, one that seeks engagement and partnership to foster integrity across public institutions. The message came to the fore during a courtesy visit to the National Orthopedic Hospital, Igbobi, Lagos, where the ICPC Resident Anti-Corruption Commissioner for Lagos State, Alexander Chukura, led a strategic conversation on collaboration, ethics, transparency, and institutional accountability, received by the hospital's acting medical director, Dr. Wakil Lawal. The visit focused on sensitizing management and staff on the importance of ethical conduct and risks of practices that might attract the Commission's attention.
ICPC is the police of public agencies. I want to break it down the way you understand it. What we mean as is that we police MDAs to make them adopt global best practices. However, it is a known fact that one person cannot stand at attention and start well. For crime or for corruption to be consummated by the public officer, most of the time you find people from the outside, they comply to us. They are not public officers, is that not true? I'm on the same page. So essentially, the ICPC is the police of public agencies. What is really corruption? Can someone attempt? Or do I just go ahead? MD, what do you want? Which one would you prefer? Okay, let me go ahead. That complex term, corruption, has been seen by different people at different times from different perspectives. But I'm going to still break it down. Corruption aptly refers to an abuse or a misuse of position of public trust to confer an unfair and undue advantage to oneself, to one's relative or proxy, which may not necessarily be financial. Anything you do to abuse or to misuse that position of public trust for your own gain and for others is corruption. So, what I'm saying here is that if we have that at the back of our mind, and ICPC is the police of the public agencies, what about the EFCC? The EFCC came after ICPC for purposes of specialization, economic and financial crime.
A key moment of the engagement was an open question and answer session where concerns were raised about perceived bias in enforcement, particularly when some political actors appear untouched, while public servants are often held accountable. The commissioner clarified that the ICPC investigates based on issues and petitions, not status. While he noted the section of Nigeria's constitution which offers temporary immunity to certain office holders, he stated that this immunity elapses once they leave office, after which credible petitions are duly investigated. The leadership of the hospital present were also encouraged to see the ICPC not as a threat, but as an ally in strengthening systems and protecting public trust. Chukura emphasized that internal mechanism is not enough in fighting corruption. Rather, it requires alignment with global best practices. He urged public institutions to adopt transparent documentation and compliance protocols, stating that the absence of proper records can be just as detrimental.
Statement today, I will deduct that keeping good record is also as important as not being corrupt. And so this is also things I want some of my colleagues and myself to also learn from. ICPC or EFCC will not be there when we are doing transaction. With the document we are going to send to them. And so it becomes an important aspect of our work. Hope this will also improve our practice. So thank you. Your statement today has contributed a lot. And we don't have any ICPC. ICPC is our friend. And I'm sure we'll keep the channel hold.
Speaking with SOUQ News TV, the commissioner reiterated the need for ongoing partnership across key sectors to foster greater understanding of the commission's work and improve public trust. He expressed optimism that in a few years, ICPC would achieve significant milestones in building a more accountable nation.
It's a tradition in ICPC for us to go to strategic stakeholders. We go to the place to tell them what to preach the anti-graft crusade. So at the end of the day, we have a better nation. Because on the stand of insight, it's been discovered that Nigerians, the citizens, have suffered, there's a lot of apartheid indifference about the anti-graft crusade. So it's this constant effort by the ICPC to now begin to, make people get a buy-in for that to be part of the whole crusade. We go everywhere, especially government, that's the MDAs, so that we can galvanize support, so that we can educate the people on the ills of corruption. We're not there yet, but with the present board, the end is very near.
At the end of the session, the ICPC handed essential materials, including the ICPC Act, a handbook of frequently asked questions, and a guide on the consequences of unethical behavior to